Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to my second show here on BCFM and for all the lovely messages of support last week. I'm Nicola Bartlett and I'm a DJ at Fondue, an all-vinyl 70s club night. So tonight you can expect to hear some cracking songs from the 1970s. I also have a guest with me in the studio today, Mr. Polyester, record collector, all-round good egg and DJ Jason Cook. We work together on Fondue and we're really excited about our next club night, which is just around the corner on Friday the 31st of July in Z Alley. We'll be playing some of the songs you can expect to hear at the club night and talking 70s fashion with our Fondue friends. Let's start the show with one of my all-time personal favourites. It's a dark progressive rock song that reached number 4 in the UK charts in 1971. It's Devil's Answer by Atomic Rooster. What a brilliant song. Tonight, Jason Cook is joining me in the studio, and Jason is DJing alongside me at Fondue. But first, let's go back in time. And Jason, can you tell me about your early life and your earliest musical memories?
Hello, Nicola. It's great to be on the show. And yes, I grew up in London in the 1970s. I was actually born in 1966. And I remember I was a very small boy, and I remember seeing my dad on television, and I couldn't believe it. I was thinking, back then we only had 3 channels, and the TV didn't start till kind of early-ish in the morning. We didn't have 24-hour TV back then. We didn't have 50 channels. We had 3 channels. And my dad was on in the evening on Top of the Pops. And that's my earliest memory of really seeing my dad in music. Over the years, I started to develop a little bit of my own musical taste. And I was about maybe 8 or 9 years old. The glam rock sound was in. I really loved it. And I can remember my dad was in a band called Blue Mink, and they played live. And I went to the gig, and it was my first ever proper gig experience. And we were sitting up on a balcony, and I remember looking down at my dad playing on the stage, and they had a strobe light going, and they were doing a crazy kung fu dancing on stage. It was amazing, and everyone in the audience was loving it. It was just a really great experience. So I did get to experience music, but especially with a father who was a pop star. That was really quite special.
Of course, and your father was from Fishponds. Do you want to tell us who he was and what he did?
Well, his name's Roger Cook, and he started off as a vocalist. He was in a few groups and released a few records. And then he met a man called Roger Greenaway. And Roger Greenaway was in a band called the Kestrels. And a member of the Kestrels left, and my father was asked to join. But it wasn't soon after that the Kestrels folded, but him and Roger stuck together and were writing songs together. And my dad told me one day they had a gig together and it didn't go too well. And afterwards, they sat down and they wrote the song, You've Got Your Troubles, which was then covered by the Fortunes. Now, my father and Roger Greenaway were going to put their own version out. They were being produced by George Martin, the Beatles producer, and they had their own version recorded. But back then, the Fortunes put theirs out before my father and Roger Greenaway, and had a massive hit. Now, my dad was very happy because he made some good money from the hits and got well known. But he's also wondering, well, what could have happened if their version had come out before the Fortunes version? So my dad moved to London in the late 60s, and I grew up in London. I was born in Bristol, but I was only a child, maybe 6 months old, when my family moved to London. It was, I guess it was probably about 1967. And I grew up in London. I went to school in London, and I guess I considered myself a Londoner. And my father knew everyone in the music business, and every year we'd go to these Christmas parties and all the people would be there. My father was a member of an organisation called the Society of Distinguished Songwriters, or SODS for short. SODS was kind of, I guess, a bit of a rude word in the 70s. Now I don't think anyone really uses that term anymore. But the society is still going, and there's still, Andrew Lloyd Webber's a member of the SODS. And even young people, people in their 20s and 30s are members of the SODS, and they meet up every year. So my father and us, we moved to Nashville in 1976. The songwriting that my father was doing people were still cutting his songs, but a lot of bands started writing their own music and publishing. You can make a lot of money from publishing with radio airplay. So my father found he was getting kind of pushed to the sides, and he wasn't getting so many pop cuts. When someone records your song, they call it a cut. And so he wanted to go somewhere else where he could be appreciated as a songwriter again. So he wanted to go to New York or possibly LA. And someone said, hey, why don't you check Nashville out? My dad was like, Nashville? Why would I want to go there? And they go, well, they loved songwriters there. Well, we all moved to Nashville in 1976. And within a couple of years, my dad had his first massive big country pop hit. And that was Talking in Your Sleep by Crystal Gale. Well, I lived in America for 8 years, and then eventually I came back to Britain, and I decided I wanted to live in Britain more than I wanted to live in America. But my family still lived there, and I go out and visit them. And now my mother lives in a town called Muscle Shoals, which is also a very well-known town for the music business. And that's pretty much my life. So early on, a lot of exposure to music, and that's carried on throughout my life. I play the drums in bands, I DJ, and I love going to see live music and dressing up. When I say dressing up, I don't mean fancy dress. I mean wearing cool clothes that I collect from vintage clothing shops. And we're going to talk about that a bit later.
Oh, yes, we absolutely are. We've got quite the segment on fashion, and a lot of our Fondue friends got involved with that. So you had a really interesting life. And let's actually listen to one of your father's songs now. So which one would you like us to play?
Well, there's a song of my dad's which I took it along to the last Fondue, but actually didn't get around to playing. It's a song called Randy. And I guess, Randy's a little bit kind of like slightly, rude word, but maybe, well, depends what context you use it in. But it was a massive hit for Blue Mink. And I think it's a great song. And there's a guitar solo in the middle, and it's all kind of a bit space age. It's a great beat, and the vocals are fantastic. So take it away, Nicola.
Let's play it right now. I believe that song reached number 9 in 1973, and your dad sang along Madeleine Bell. Did you see many famous people while you were growing up?
I did, but because they were friends of my dad, I didn't really see them or really know that they were famous. It's like, if you went to the pub with your parents and there was like your dad's best friend there and, acquaintances and... I grew up around people that were just my dad's friends. When we moved to Nashville, we used to go to a bar. It was just a little dive bar, where they did cheeseburgers and fries and just beers. And they'd be like, Don Everly used to drink in there, right?
Wow.
Johnny Cash's bass player was in there. The drummer that played with T-Rex was in there. All these different musicians are in there. And outside there's like Rolls Royces, Mercedes parked outside. And it's just a little dive bar full of my dad's pals. And it was, I didn't really think of them as stars because I guess I didn't really have much knowledge of that yet. So they were just my dad's friends.
Yeah, you'd probably ask them quite different questions now than you would have back then.
Well, I remember being at a party once, and I had about half an hour conversation with a British man that I'd never met before, and we had a nice conversation. And then I went my mum was sitting in the corner. I went over to speak to her, and she said, "You know who that was you were just talking to?" And I went, "No." She said, "Oh, that was Steve Winwood." We was just at a party, I was having a drink, and he was having a drink. We're just chatting. So, sometimes I don't know who I'm talking to, and I guess I'm not really starstruck so much because I've grown up around sort of well-known people. It's kind of normal for me to be around people.
Yes, that makes sense.
In that way.
Yes, and they are all ordinary people at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yes.
It's just that they've had a lot of success with what they do because of their talents and one thing and another. So alongside DJing, you're also a drummer, aren't you, in a couple of local bands?
That's right.
So I guess that we could say that music is in your blood. What is it that you love about drumming?
Well, I tried guitar and I tried piano. I even played trombone in the school band. But around about the age of 11 or 12, I started to develop Tourette syndrome. And back then, my Tourette was quite bad. I was fidgeting non-stop. I think a lot of people don't really understand Tourette. They always put the worst case of Tourette on the television. So the person that's shouting obscenities or swearing, shouting out things out loud. Only about 1 in 3 people with Tourette actually do that. The rest of us just can't sit still. We're constantly fidgeting. And drumming for me, when I tried the drums, it was like a release of energy. I was able to do something where I could forget about Tourette and just drumming and concentrating on drumming. The tics went away. And I think maybe I didn't quite have the patience to play guitar and piano. Drumming is like more of a physical act, and that's what I like about drumming. Now, there's lots of great drummers in the world, and I've never really thought of myself as a great drummer, although I do get a lot of praise for my drumming style. For me, the most important thing is to make the song sound good. So not 1 million fills, trash on the cymbals all the time. You have to put the drum bits in where they suit, where they're needed. And I don't overplay.
Yeah.
It's all about a good groove and a good beat. I'll do some fancy stuff where there's a space for it, but it's not a constant thing. I like to form a bond with the other musicians in the band and the charisma of the musicians. I feel like I'm part of that. Although I'm not a songwriter like my father, I'm very good at helping to arrange songs. I'm always coming up with ideas for choruses and bridges and things like this, and I like to contribute to the creation of the song in my own way as a drummer.
Yes, yeah, everyone has their part to play, and at the moment you drum for a surf band and a rock and roll band, but you've been involved in lots of bands throughout the years. Is there anything about the style of drumming that you particularly like in glam rock songs?
Well, this is a funny thing. So basically there's at least half the glam rock songs that ever came out have a particular beat, and that's the fall to the floor. Now, a lot of people will associate that with disco music, the thump, 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 or the boom, 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 boom of disco music. Before disco, you had the Motown beat, which was bap, 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 but that was on the snare. The glam rock sound has a sort of kick, floor tom, snare thing. It's fall to the floor beat. But it's very powerful. So when you think of glam rock music, you might think that the guitar is the most important part. You might think the vocal is the most important part, or you might think the clothes, the glitter, the platform shoes is the most important part. For me, that drum beat has to be there. It has to be holding everything together and driving it. And that's what I like about the glam rock sound.
You can listen again to any shows at bcfmradio.com and leave comments about your favourite programmes. BCFM 93.2, your interactive station 24 hours a day.
You're listening to Nicola Bartlett, and today I have a guest in the studio, Jason Cook, and we both run Fondue, an all-vinyl 70s club night right here in Bristol. One thing that I love about running the club night is meeting people and seeing them dress up, watching their dance moves, seeing the dance floor full of joy. Although we've only just started it, it feels like we're creating something special, a bit of a scene. And some people are actually planning their outfits weeks in advance, and we're quite active on social media, so they let us know what they're planning on wearing. And I admired quite a few outfits on the dance floor last time. Do you remember, Jason, there was Ian, and he drove all the way from Wolverhampton to come along to Fondue. And he really looked the part. So he went for an early 70s post-psychedelic look, and he wore a red lace-up, long-sleeved shirt with a glittery blue necklace, white trousers and Chelsea boots. And I asked Ian what he'll be wearing at the next Fondue, and he sent in this voice note.
I've decided on wearing trousers and a long shirt with cuffs. The great thing about them is that the material is a sort of an iridescent material with some great patterns in. On my feet, I am going to go for some suede ankle boots, zip-up ankle boots with a high 2-inch heel, which I think will look pretty good for the time that we're talking about. And of course, I'll have the medallions, jewellery, sort of accoutrements to add to that. Okay, love to you all. Bye-bye.
Yeah, he really looked the part, and I can't wait to see what he's wearing next time. And then there was Tilly with a beautiful pink mini dress with huge bell sleeves, and Katie with a beautifully sparkly silver dress. Everyone looked fabulous. So I asked Tilly what she'll be wearing at the next Fondue, and she sent in this message. So Tilly said, "I'm planning to wear a 1970s dagger collar, bishop sleeve lurex shirt with bold metallic black and gold stripes paired with high-waisted black velvet trousers and chunky leather platform knee-high boots worn over the top." What do you think of that, Jason?
I can't wait to see it. It sounds like she's really made the effort.
Yes, so she said that a lot of her inspiration comes from one of her favourite bands, Roxy Music, and she said that they've always had a huge influence on her style. So yeah, sounds fantastic. I can't wait to see either. If you'd like to take part in the next radio show, you can send me a voice note or message on Facebook or Instagram. Just follow Nicola Explores and send me a message or a voice note, and I'll read it out on the next show. Jason, what do you love about 70s fashion?
Well, I've always liked fashion in a way. Now, when I was much younger, I was with friends, and the friends of mine were into fashion, but they didn't like to take any risks. And I was always kind of interested in clothes, but I didn't want to stand out from my friends, so I didn't buy those clothes. When I moved to Bristol, I then got into a music scene, the 60s music scene. I started off in punk, but I then went to the music scene about 2010, the Bristol 60s music scene, and that's when I felt free to actually start buying clothes, and I started building up a collection. Now, it can take years sometimes to build up a collection of great clothes, because a lot of these clothes don't exist anymore. Sometimes you find dead stock, and dead stock's great because it's a brand new thing that nobody wanted at the time that you can buy, and it's just like brand new. I built up a great collection, and we're not asking people to go to a fancy dress shop and just rent an outfit. Go to shops, look online, build up your collection, and wear these clothes and interchange them, and just there's lots of elements of 70s music with the clothing, from the glam to, the going into the punk sound, the early 70s coming out, the psychedelic scene and the prog rock. There's lots of different things going on. There's the disco scene. So I've been building up this collection of clothes, and I'm planning to wear a different outfit for every single Fondue. I've got enough different clothes I can wear a different outfit for every Fondue, and I'm almost excited about the clothes as I am the music.
Me too. I wore 2 outfits last time at our first one because there was so much that I wanted to wear and I just couldn't decide, so I might wear 2 outfits at the next one as well. Do you know what you'll be wearing at the next Fondue?
Well, it is July and it is quite warm, even though the Z Alley does have air conditioning. So I think it's going to probably have to be a short sleeve shirt, and I'll probably wear some flared polyester trousers. And people always joke about polyester. They say, you can rub a balloon against it and stick it to the ceiling, or don't stand near a native flame. But I do like my polyester flared trousers, and I've got a fantastic disco shirt collection. I especially like the where they have geometric patterns and flowers on. That's my favourite my favourite type of disco shirt. So I'll probably wear a disco shirt. Last time I wore a dark brown disco shirt with geometric patterns and flowers and a pair of dark brown flared polyester trousers. I also wore a pair of gold platform boots.
Yeah, they were really quite something, weren't they?
And they're kind of rainbow and reflective. The thing is, I'm already 6 foot tall, so to add another 4 inches to my height was a bit strange. I was towering above everybody else. But yes, I'm probably going to wear, I've got a really nice beige, it's a Hawaiian beige wedding shirt, and the cuffs go down just below the elbow, and they have like a sort of a flowery pattern in the cuffs. It's quite a unique shirt with big collars, the type of collars where the wind blew, at the end of the collar to poke you in the eye.
I can't wait to see.
And I've got a pair of beige trousers. They're a little bit on the tight side, but they look fantastic. So that probably will be my outfit for the next fondue.
Fantastic. I've been planning my outfit too. And yeah, like last time, I probably will have a costume change. But I think I'm going to start the night wearing a tight black dress covered in shiny gold circles. And it has a plunging neckline and large shoulder pads. And I'm going to pair it with some gold go-go boots. So I'm going for a late disco look with the shiny gold metallic details, but I'm also drawing inspiration from the 60s with the go-go boots, which were still popular in the early 70s. It's important to note that we don't have a strict dress code or policy, but we do encourage everyone to dress up and be the stars of the dance floor. I mean, of course, the music is what draws everyone to the dance floor, but it's the sparkles and flamboyant, expressive costumes that really make the dance floor absolutely fabulous. Let's hear from some of our fondue friends. And these are people that are planning what they are going to wear on the 31st of July in Zed Alley. So here's Jude, who will be travelling in from Bedford.
Hi, my name's Jude, and I am travelling from Bedford to Fondue on Friday the 31st of July at Zed Alley, and I cannot wait. I will be wearing my 70s inspired outfit, which is a shirt, which is orange and striped, and my Cuban heel boots. And my outfit is inspired by all the shows I used to watch growing up, which is a mixture of The Professionals, The New Avengers, and The Sweeney, and I cannot wait to listen to some of the cool tunes on Friday. See you there.
Jason, did you watch any of those programmes in the 70s, or are there any that you can remember from back then?
I remember watching Space 1999, and they had amazing costumes. And I also remember watching things like The Professionals, and I thought Roger Moore and Tony Curtis were fantastic in that TV show. I did watch quite a lot of American TV shows. Things like Kojak were very popular.
Of course.
And there's even a video of me pretending to be Telly Savalas. Well, using the Savalas line of, "Who loves you, baby?"
Yes, do check that out on our Fondue social media pages. And we've done quite a few photo shoots and made quite a few little videos, haven't we? And some of them are going viral, which is lovely. We're bringing back the 70s on the internet.
It's amazing when you think, okay, there's maybe 100 people that might come to a fondue on an evening, but there might be 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people that watch the videos.
Yes.
So possibly people all over the world are seeing these videos.
Yes, some are over 100,000. So it's growing. We're spreading the 70s love. So I wasn't actually around when those television programmes were first aired, but I did enjoy watching some of them growing up. I thought that Purdy and the New Avengers was so cool at the time. So I would have watched them, I think, because my parents enjoyed watching them. So I watched them growing up in the 90s. And guess what, Jason? I bought something. Do you remember that Purdy had a Triumph TR7?
Wow, it's a classic car.
Yes, well, I'm doing a Purdy and I've bought a Triumph TR7. It needs a little bit of work doing before it's on the road. It's in Tahiti blue. So if anyone sees it on the streets of Bristol, then you'll probably know that it's me behind the wheel.
It's an iconic car, and when you're driving down the road, give Nicola a wave. And if you're walking down the road and you see the car, give Nicola a wave.
And get out of the way. We love all the cars, the music and the fashion from the 70s. And next up is Dark Entries Dan, describing what he is going to wear at the next Fondue.
For the next Fondue on the 31st, I'll likely be wearing a black shirt with a really cool silver diamond pattern and long spear collar with these really funky dark blue sequin flares. I wore them to a Bowie tribute night on the anniversary of his death earlier on in the year, and they look pretty cool. And then some Cuban heels, most likely. Of course, as always, I'll be wearing my sunglasses at night as well. And I might do a little bit of glam makeup. Yeah, why not?
Why not indeed? And will you be wearing any glam makeup, Jason?
Well, I've been considering it. I would love someone to paint my face at one of the fondues coming up. So if anybody can do a fantastic, like maybe Ziggy Stardust or something else, please get in touch with Nicola and maybe we can get you in and paint our faces for future fondue.
Oh yeah, that would be fabulous. And next up is Linda, who remembers the 70s.
My memories of the 70s are man-made fibres, flares, platforms, shirts with big collars. I remember long hair and moustaches for the guys. I remember the sweet T-Rex. I remember the 70s because I was there. I was in my teens and I danced to a lot of these tunes. And that's what takes me back to the 70s. And that's why I love fondue.
And it's always really great to see Linda. We see her at other club nights at Z Alley as well. And we're really grateful for Linda for coming along to the first one. And we're also very grateful to everyone else that comes out and supports the event. And what I love about Fondue and the venue, Z Alley, is that it's a really welcoming place. So we have people from all ages coming along. So some people might be in their 20s listening to 70s music for the first time, and others might remember the songs being released like Linda, and there's everything else in between. Finally, here's Max the Pretty Boy, who is also going to introduce the next song, and it's a belter.
I've been agonising over my outfit. I may wear these gorgeous purple taffeta Anthony Price trousers, as they make me want to move like Brian Ferry. I never know what to wear in the summer months. I'm looking forward to wearing corduroy flares in the winter. At the inaugural fondue, I wore some silver boots, but unfortunately the silver is flaking off now and making a mess, so I need to quarantine those boots for now. I recently acquired some second-hand cowboy boots, so maybe I'll try those for the next one. Lots to consider, but I know however I show up, I'll be given a warm welcome, because while all are encouraged to dress to impress and express, everyone's welcome. It's nice to be inspired by everyone else's choices, so I'd encourage anyone who maybe wanted to attend but was worried about what to wear, just come as you are and allow yourself to be inspired. At the end of the day, it's not as much about your wardrobe as your love for boogieing to some of the greatest 70s music, surrounded by other passionate people. We've got to allow ourselves to be a little crazy. So let's take a moment to revel in Slade's rock and rolling classic, Mama, We're All Crazy Now.
Stop!
bcfmradio.com and leave comments about your favourite programmes. BCFM 93.2, your interactive station 24 hours a day.
Thank you for tuning in. I am Nicola Bartlett, and in the studio with me today is Jason Cook, and we have been talking all things 70s from the music and the fashion, and about Fondue, which is our club night in just a few days' time on Friday the 31st of July in Z Alley. And if you'd like to book tickets to that, then you can find us on Headfirst Bristol. Just search for Fondue Bristol, or give us a follow on our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, or wherever you get your social media fix. That was a great song, Jason, wasn't it? Do you have a favourite by that band?
I think it has to be the massive Christmas song, but the trouble is you can only play that once a year. You can't really play that in July or August. So I think probably Slade doing Christmas. I think all the glam bands doing Christmas. There's some fantastic songs, Wizard, all these other things. That's probably my favourite. So, the Slade song, Christmas song. Sorry, I can't remember the name of the song right now. It's just slipped my mind. But you know which one I mean.
Oh, I think everybody knows it. Well,
I wish it could be Christmas every day.
Yes, so that's your guilty pleasure.
That's probably my favourite Slade song of all time.
Oh gosh, that's your guilty pleasure. I really didn't think that you were going to choose that one. But
it's like hands in the air. It's like when you see the people at the football games with their stars in the air, or Bay City Rollers, tartan scarf. It's like scarves in the air type of song, fists in the air. It's a fantastic tune.
Yes, and everyone's full of joy. Well, and we do have some exciting news about December, don't we? Because we're actually going to be in Torquay, so that's something to look forward to. So I'm sure that one of us, and there's going to be quite a few DJs, I'm sure that one of us will be wanting to play it. I think I might let you play that one.
Thank you. The pleasure will be mine, but everybody else's.
Yes, exactly. And we've been buying glam rock, but also lots of other records since the first Fondue. Jason, is there a record that you're particularly looking forward to playing on the 31st of July?
Yes, so of course, what most people remember about the 70s are the songs that they would have seen on Top of the Pops and other music programs and things they would have heard on the radio. But there was a whole load of music that never got on the radio. And not because it wasn't good enough, it just, for whatever circumstance, didn't make the charts. I have one record. It's by a band called Chunky, and it's called Albatross Baby. And it's quite a difficult record to get a hold of. I got very lucky. I paid about 50 quid for mine, which sounds like a lot of money for a record, when you can go to a charity shop and buy a record for £1. But some of these records go into hundreds or even thousands of pounds because they're very collectible, because not many copies were printed up. Albatross Baby is a very difficult record to find, and I'm very lucky to own it. But apart from that, I really like the song. I don't just like it because it's rare. I like it because it sounds a little bit like Spirit in the Sky.
Yep.
It's got that kind of guitar line and that beat. It's also got some synthesizer sounds. And a lot of us, when we think about synthesizer music, we think about maybe Kraftwerk or maybe the bands from the 80s like Soft Cell and Depeche Mode. But the synth sound, the people in the 70s were the early pioneers of the synth sound, which came from the Moog synthesizer, which was used in the early 70s and the late 60s. And before that, there was things like the Mellotron, which was used on pop hits in the 60s. But the synth sound mixed with guitars, there's something special about it. And it's a fantastic song. And I'd love people to get to know this song and dance to it at Fondue.
White light in the night, oh baby, it's a lighthouse. White light in the night, oh baby, I'm at sea. White light in the night, oh baby, it's a lighthouse. I pray the lighthouse keeperman's keeping it safe for me. Rocks going round, turn the wheel till the in the sky, and oh baby, I'm a sea. White light in the sky, and oh baby, it's so frightening. Come on, Albatross, baby, and fly, make it safe for me. The light then flashed and cut the mist and masked into the center. A thunderbolt crashed in the sea, then a wash on the deck. I dreamt you saw the harbor light shining, calling me to enter. Come on, Albatross, baby, and fly, take us safely back. I've been a long, long time at sea. I hope the baby waits for me. Got something to go home for in the morning. Take it back.
So that's an example of a junk shop glam record, isn't it?
Yes.
I know that you love collecting junk shop glam. Can you explain to our listeners who may not be familiar with the term what junk shop glam is?
Well, a lot of people would know about sort of what people call indie music. So it tends to be records that aren't necessarily chart records, but it's like underground music. Well, there's been underground music for decades, and in the 70s there was a lot of what you might consider underground music, whether that was intentional or not. I think some songs were written to be hits and just didn't make it. So there's a kind of a story, kind of like, I don't know if it's true, it might be myth, but apparently somebody, maybe a well-known person from a punk band or something, was in a record shop once in the late 70s and found a box full of records. And maybe they were like 20p each or something, 10p each. It's a box of records that nobody wanted. And this person bought the box, took it home, started going through them, and discovered all these amazing songs. And thought, well, this sounds just like, or sounds very similar to the bands I remember watching on Top of the Pops, like The Sweet, Slade, T-Rex. But nobody knows this music. And because the person found the box of records in a junk shop or a second-hand shop, not necessarily a record shop, they coined it junk shop glam. Now, there's lots of musical terms that describe a type of music that weren't called that back in the day. It wasn't known as junk shop glam back in the mid-70s. There's a type of music called freak beat, which is a modern term that was given to music in the 1960s that kind of happened between beat and psych era. And there's lots of other terms for music that happen later rather than at the time. Junk shop glam is a modern term to describe a type of underground music of non-charting records from the mid-70s. Fantastic music. I absolutely love it. And I'm hoping that over time, if we play these records every month at Fondue, that other people, especially people in the audience, will get to know these songs. And get your phones out and do Shazam and listen to that song in your car or at work, because they're great songs, and we want people to get to love them as much as we do.
Definitely. And you can always chat with us because we take it in turns DJing. So if you think that you liked a particular song, you wanted to know what it is, chat to us between our sets and we can give you the details. Or you can also message in on our Facebook page, Fondue Bristol. I've been scouring the local record shops across the southwest recently as well in preparation for our next night, and I have lots of new songs that I want to play at Fondue too. So we're going to play a lot of glam rock, some pop and disco, and also some classic rock. And one song that I'm particularly looking forward to playing is Spacer by Shelia and Bee Devotion.
He's a ladies' man, always greet with a kiss on the hand, protects us all, at the ready to answer a call. In his own special way, he's gentle and kind, operation he hates, love in his eyes. My heart skips a beat when I'm at his side. He's a spacer, a star chaser, a spacer. He's a spacer, a star chaser, a spacer. In a galaxy, you can trust everyone that you meet. I'm so lucky, he's the only one I'll ever need. He will blast off tonight, he puts his life on the line every time he's in flight. A man you can trace, that I love will last beyond time and space. He's a spacer, a star chaser, a spacer.
What a great song to dance along to. It was released in 1979 and it's now a Euro disco classic written and produced by Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards. At Fondue, we mostly play songs from the early 70s, but we also play some songs that were released later in the decade, especially when they sound like that. Jason, what's one of your favourites from the early 70s?
Well, there's a song which I really like. I loved it as a child, and it's Popcorn by Hot Butter. Now, it's a really fantastic instrumental tune, and what I love about it is you got this bop, 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 bop kind of tune. It's very catchy. It goes all the way through the song, and the drumming is incredible because it changes a different drum beat each time, but keeps the song driving. It was a massive hit in loads of different countries. It's actually a cover tune because it was originally recorded by somebody else, but Hot Butter did a version of it, and it came out, massive hit, absolutely love it. So our music night is called Fondue, and of course fondue is hot melted cheese. The fondue parties in the 70s were very popular events that people went to, and at Fondue, the music night, we're not afraid to play music that other people might think are a bit cheesy. We love it. We love to play interesting songs, we like to play serious songs, and we like to play fun songs at Fondue. And you're going to hear Popcorn by Hot Butter on the 31st of July.
And you're going to hear it now. So taking you to the news at the top of the hour, here is Popcorn.